Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. My name is Hunter on this Tuesday, October the 7th, 2025. I apologize for a little bit of a later video today. Had a lot going on here this morning, but we're here. We're going to give you the weather forecast across Canada, the United States, and the tropics. And if you do enjoy these weather forecasts that I put out, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get future videos, and also share it with a friend, family member, and on social media. We're going to look at your short range, long range, and your tropical weather forecast as well in this video. So let's look here at the cold front that is moving across portions of the eastern United States. This has brought some fall-like temperatures back to the upper Midwest here today. You definitely feel it in the Twin Cities area, Kansas City, Des Moines, Chicago, Milwaukee. You all feel it here on this Tuesday afternoon. And we're going to feel it for the rest of the week. We're going to see some cooler temperatures than what we have been seeing the last few days. That will continue across the eastern United States, while a little bit of a rebound in our temperatures with a southerly wind component will be coming back across the plains and the Rockies, especially getting towards the weekend. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday here, the 10th, 11th, and 12th of October, we're going to start to see more of a southerly wind, and we're going to be warming our temperatures back above normal here into the plains in the wake of that cool front. Now let's look at the temperatures here in specifics. This afternoon, look at these 50s up here into northeastern North Dakota, northern Minnesota, into Wisconsin, especially the north woods of Wisconsin, western UP of Michigan, and 60s all throughout the Midwest. That is behind our cold front. Ahead of it, we still have some 70s, 80s, even some record highs being broken across the I-95 corridor, the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, down here into the Southeast, including near the Gulf Coast. We're into the 90s this afternoon. As we move it to tomorrow, notice the cool front really makes its presence known across the Northeast. It'll be a night and day scenario, right? It'll feel like summer today here in the Northeast, feel like fall tomorrow. So that's what we're going to be dealing with more 60s across the I-95 corridor on Wednesday. Thursday, you can see that southerly wind component coming back that we're talking about. We're going to be warming our temperatures back up in places like Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, even eastern Colorado, getting back into the low, perhaps even middle 80s. So it'll be a little bit warmer as we go into Thursday. And Friday, we start to swing those 70s back up to the Illinois Valley, for example, Iowa, Missouri, the Ozarks region, starting to get back closer towards the 80-degree mark. And then for the weekend ahead, you can see we slightly warm up a little bit more. Back to near 80 degrees in Des Moines, 84 in Kansas City, 83 by the time we get to Sunday, October 12th there in St. Louis. Now, during the day, it is cooler, but at night, it's going to be much cooler, right? We're going to be seeing some frost, freeze risks across portions of the upper Midwest. So the Arrowhead of Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, up there near Lake Superior, that's where we're going to be seeing hard freeze and frost conditions with upper 20s, low 30s as we go into the Wednesday morning. That concern will shift a little bit further east into Michigan, into portions of the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic as we go into Thursday morning with more 20s and 30s over there. So a hard freeze, frost risk for Thursday morning there. And then that will continue. I think the coldest morning for the Northeast will be Friday morning. Into the 20s we go. And then as we go into the weekend, our temperatures during the morning will begin to slightly rebound, especially in the central U.S. where we have that southerly wind coming back. Looking at thunderstorm risks, not really anything severe ahead of the cold front outside of areas in central New Mexico where we could have potentially some quarter-size hail with these storms, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts near Albuquerque, Santa Fe as we go through the afternoon and evening. No severe weather. In fact, not really any thunderstorms expected across the U.S. on Wednesday. And then as we go to Thursday, same deal with cooler air, stable air in place. We're not going to see a lot of thunderstorms. Let's look at the eastern U.S. first. We'll go to the central U.S. view second, and third, we'll go to the western U.S. And looking here at specifics from the Ohio Valley up here into the interior sections of the Northeast, this afternoon, yes, it's going to be a gray afternoon with lots of cloud cover. We're going to be working in some shower and storm opportunities as we go deeper into the afternoon, and some of this rainfall could be heavy. So this could come down at a good clip here for portions of the Northeast. Heading into the overnight hours, it'll be a rainy night from Maine all the way back here into the Poconos and eastern Pennsylvania, Maryland, the Washington, D.C. area, Baltimore, going to also be pretty wet as we go into overnight. Starting off your Wednesday morning, if you're heading out to work, school in Boston, New York City, going to be a rainy one to start the day. And then as we go into the afternoon, we're we're going to peel away some cloud cover and give you more of a mix of sun and cloud. So as you're heading home from work, heading home from school, any sporting activities will start to clear up during the afternoon. A mix of sun and clouds for the southeast as we go into tomorrow, but there could be a couple of showers that could develop, a thunderstorm or two. Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina here in the Outer Banks of eastern North Carolina as well. So be looking out for that. Any sporting events out there may have to be delayed or moved indoors because of those storms for Wednesday. Central United States we'll talk about in a moment, but let's look here at the rainfall, right? This is going to be giving us some decent rains near the Ohio River into Kentucky, all the way up here through Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, all the way up to Maine. Could be seeing quite a bit of areas getting an inch of rain. That's in the kind of the mustard yellow color. That's where we could be seeing a yellow, an inch of rain. And then in central Kentucky, could be closing in on 2-3 inches worth of rain near Lexington and Louisville as we go through Thursday morning. This takes you through 7 a.m. Thursday morning. Central United States now, we promise you we'd talk about you, and not a lot going on, quite frankly. Behind the cold front, we're seeing quite a bit of sunshine there in the upper Midwest. Some cloud cover, though, across portions of the Chicagoland area. St. Louis this afternoon will give way to clearing as we go to tonight. That will make our temperatures tumble overnight. So starting off Wednesday morning, going to be a chilly one there in the Midwest, and then as we go through the day, I think a lot more cloud cover to the south. So Texas, Dallas, Abilene, Houston, and Shreveport going to be a little bit cloudier tomorrow. There will be some peaks of sun at times, but it'll see some cloud cover. Mostly sunny skies will rule the roost across the Midwest going through your Wednesday. Going into the western U.S., plenty of sunshine, high pressure building out here as well. There's going to be some cloud cover from time to time, especially Wednesday afternoon, Washington State and Oregon. Storm system right off the Pacific Northwest could bring us some mix of sun and clouds across the Seattle area, Portland, down there towards Sacramento and California. Maybe some remnant moisture down here in Arizona that could spin up potentially some measurable rain near the Tucson area, Flagstaff, Phoenix, or outside of Phoenix at least. Could be seeing that through Wednesday afternoon and evening. Overall, this takes you through 7 a.m. Monday, October 13th. Could be seeing some decent rains here in parts of the country. The Pacific Northwest with that storm system we're just alluding to. The recurvature of any tropical activity in the East Pacific will be giving us moisture there into Arizona, Utah, western Colorado, and into New Mexico. The Four Corners region is what we call that. And then across the Ohio River Valley into portions of the Northeast. That's where we could have that heavier rain. A lot of that will be tonight into your Wednesday timeframe. Very dry, though, in the plains overall going through the next few days. Now let's look at the snowfall front. Not a lot of snowfall across the United States unless you're in the higher elevations of the Pacific Northwest. That's where we could be seeing a few inches worth of snowfall going through your Monday morning. A lot colder air further north. Alaska, Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Western Canada there. We could be seeing feet of snow in the higher elevations. That's not abnormal here into the middle of October. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as we go through time to see how far south that snowpack does start to go. Now, going into next week, your long-range weather forecast, we got a big ridge of high pressure building here, and synoptically, this is helping the eastern Pacific in the tropics because you have high pressure in Mexico and Texas lowering the pressure underneath. That's why we're seeing a lot of those recurving systems, and we're going to talk about that here momentarily, but we're going to be warming up our temperatures next week. Monday, October 13th through Friday, October 17th, we're going to be moderating our temperatures, maybe not quite as warm as what we saw these past few days into the Midwest or the central U.S., but just a warmer than normal middle of October is in store. I think we're going to see more 60s, more 70s, say, than the 40s and 50s like we could be seeing here in the middle of the month. We will be seeing a drier trend in the eastern United States outside of any tropical activity. A lot of the moisture opportunities will be across the western half of the country, really west of the Mississippi River, and quite frankly, mainly confined to the Rockies and the Sacramento Valley here into California going through the upcoming weekend. Now let's look at this beast here. This is in the West Pacific Ocean. This is Typhoon. I'm going to correct my Halong. This is Typhoon Halong, and look at the eye wall with this. Why do we bring up a typhoon in the West Pacific east of Japan? Well, we are going to be seeing some changes here closer to home, and by 10 days from now, that West Pacific typhoon Halong, just east of Japan and Tokyo, will recurve back into the North Pacific and actually will bring a strong and perhaps powerful cold front to the eastern United States by that last week or so of October, and that is courtesy of this major system here in the West Pacific. So what that's going to do is cooler temperatures down as we go into that third and even fourth week of October, getting closer to Halloween, and it's going to start to bring some moisture opportunities to areas that need it. So the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, into the Northeast, up into Quebec, those areas have been very dry, right? And we're going to see some moisture, whereas the western U.S. will begin to dry out just a tad as we get towards Halloween. So be keeping an eye there on Halong. It's actually going to be recurving. So you can see the track here. It's just going to be to the east of Japan, east of Tokyo, and it's going to recurve back there into the North Pacific. And that could bring a pretty strong cold front to the United States by the time we get closer towards Halloween in that last week of October. Let's talk about the tropics. Tropical storm Jerry has formed in the main development region. This is the farthest south system that I can see so far, this system that has developed out here. And this system is going to have some legs with it. It's going to increase into a hurricane by the time we get towards tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Likely remaining a hurricane into the weekend, as it could have interests near the Leeward Islands, especially the northern Leeward Islands, and then up there into Bermuda. So why we're looking here at Jerry, and you can see the Atlantic is pretty busy. We have Jerry down here. We got some disturbed weather to the north of Puerto Rico, also the Central America gyre. There's also a lot of disturbed weather near the Yucatan as well. And we look at those water temperatures. The Caribbean and the Southern Gulf, for the most part, this Atlantic hurricane season has actually been undisturbed. It's a pristine environment, so any systems that get into this could actually start to take off and increase in intensity as we go into time. But Jerry looks like it's going to recurve because stronger systems gain latitude, and also we have, like we've seen all season long, a weaker Bermuda high, and that weaker Bermuda high is going to be there and kind of steering this away from the Caribbean for the most part. Although if you live in the northern Leeward Islands, I would watch this, and also into Bermuda as well. And you can see also with the high pressure system that we're going to be seeing behind our cold front that's moving through right now into the eastern U.S., a high pressure ridge is going to build across eastern tropical Canada and kind of elongate back toward the Great Lakes. Underneath of that, we have to watch this synoptically for lowering of the pressure, and this could give us by mid-October next week a system to watch near the East Coast. Now, this looks to be more of a rainmaker, but you can see this is your 500 millibar vorticity. The brighter the colors, the more spin there is, and that trough that comes off of eastern Canada with our cold front, that is going to give us a little bit of spin underneath it, or kind of what we call a tut, and that is going to give us low pressure near the Outer Banks and potentially up the East Coast as we go towards the middle of October. So the 13th, 14th, 15th time frame, we'll be definitely watching out for that. Nonetheless, long story short, Jerry is going to recurve out to sea, most likely, not impacting the U.S. We have to monitor the trends across the eastern United States near the East Coast from Florida to Maine in case we have a system develop there. And you can see there is support for that, both on the European and the GFS ensemble guidance that we did show for that system potentially next week. Let's look over here at the East Pacific. Also very busy. We got disturbed weather with the Central America gyre that we were talking about as well. We also have a tropical storm and hurricane here into the East Pacific. So let's look at the Pacific Ocean. We have Tropical Storm Octave, which seems like it's just kind of sitting, meandering out there. We've been talking about that forever. Hurricane Priscilla, that is a system worth mentioning because that will be moving north in time. And then there is more interest near the coast of Mexico coming off the Central America gyre that has a high potential of developing as we go in towards the next 7 days. So let's look here at Priscilla. This is a major hurricane right now. This is 110 miles per hour, major hurricane, category 3. It's going to continue to move up towards the north and move into some cooler water. So it's going to be weakening, but it is going to potentially bring some pretty heavy moisture up into the Four Corners region here. And you can see there's Priscilla, a lot of spin with that. And as it moves north, kind of paralleling the Baja of California, and then it's going to move northward toward Arizona and Southern California, and a trough coming in off the west will kind of move this progressively further to the east by the middle of October. So what this will do is bring us quite a bit of moisture here into the desert Southwest. You can see the blues and purples. That's 200, 300, even 400% of normal moisture values here with precipitable water across the Four Corners region, and then that will lift across the Midwest as we get into the middle of October. So very interesting on the tropical weather front and how it kind of evolves and impacts our weather here locally, whether it's in Chicago, Los Angeles, or New York City, or even into Montreal and Quebec. It definitely does affect our weather locally. So that's what we're going to be watching for towards the middle of October. I know, folks, that was a lot to get to. I do apologize on the late video, but it is here. So thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy it and you found it very informative to you, life-saving, and reliable, make sure to like the weather forecast video, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, family member, and on social media. And of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. When you do subscribe, turn the post notification bell on to all so you get all my videos, all my live streams here coming up over the next several days. Thank you all for watching, and I hope everyone has a wonderful and safe rest of their Tuesday out there.